Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And that is me. Well, we'll get a hold of Michael-Huntington, and we're going to be talking about UFOs. And what can I say? Tonight is a good night to talk about UFOs. Or guinea pig ice cream, one of the two.
I'd rather have talk about UFOs tonight.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's get him on here. Okay.
Hello.
Well, hi. How are you doing tonight?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, Michael. How about yourself? Are you staying out of trouble?
I'm trying to.
Could you imagine in, I think, Ecuador, they just came out with a new flavored ice cream called guinea pig.
Oh,
I can tell he wasn't listening to the show, James. You know he wasn't listening to the show. Anyway, in that country, one of their favorite treats is guinea pig. You go into a restaurant, and there's guinea pigs running around on the floor, and you tell the cook, this is what I want. So the chef would sit there and prepare a guinea pig for you for dinner.
Uh-huh. Delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know about a guinea pig would be so delicious, but guinea pig ice cream made with really guinea pigs, I have no idea. Only in some of these other countries. What can I say?
Great.
Okay, well, Michael, you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what got you into UFOs and everything else?
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Well, no, you sound like you're about 10 miles away, someplace like maybe Nebraska.
Ecuador.
I'm actually in Missouri. Can you hear me okay now? Because I'm using like a headphone microphone thing, and I'm not sure about it, so...
Yeah, you're very, very weak.
Okay, how about this?
It's getting better.
Okay. Well, we'll try it like this, just with the phone here, but...
Well, now I can hear
Okay.
you. The other way, it sounded like you were, you're like your phone or the microphone was like in your living room and you were down the hallway.
Okay, does it sound better?
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Okay. Well, my name is Michael Huntington. I'm actually a paranormal travel writer and a UFO researcher based out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is down in the Boot Heel section, the southeastern part of the state, right there in the Mississippi. And I've sort of been interested in all this stuff pretty much most of my life. Growing up in the 70s, watching shows like In Search Of, and my mom getting the National Enquirer, and TV shows like Project UFO. All those things sort of influenced me. The books of Daniel Cowan definitely got me interested in all the sort of strange stuff, and I just sort of kept with it ever since. I think a lot of people around the same age as me had quite a few of the same influences with that regard, so...
Well, have you ever encountered any UFOs yourself? That's something you couldn't explain that, after you saw it, you went home and you were just baffled.
Yeah, well, I was interested in the subject, like I said, as a kid, and pretty seriously into it, almost obsessively into it. But that was even before I had an encounter. I did end up having a daylight disc, classic flying saucer encounter in the daytime, and that pretty much. Put me over the tipping edge there of being obsessed with it. And then probably about 10 years ago, I guess more like 12 now, I saw a black triangle traverse the sun. So I've had a couple of encounters with UFOs, as well as, a few encounters with other strange things. I do try to put myself into places where a lot of this stuff happens, so sometimes it pans out.
Interesting. That first encounter, can you describe what you remember, what it looked like, and what you were doing when you saw it, and what was it doing?
Yeah, it was in 1979. My dad was a salesman for the Vest Soda Company in St. Louis, and we were going to we were coming back from a company picnic at the I guess like the CEO's house. It was kind of a wealthy shindig out at one of those wealthy person's home in the wealthy part of St. Louis, certainly. And we had spent the day there, and on our way back, it was near Olive Road in St. Louis. I was in the back seat of our station wagon, the back passenger side seat, and I looked out the window, and there was a classic inverted, like two discs, on top of each other. There was like a line down the middle, so it was like two inverted, I guess like bowls or saucers, I guess. And it was definitely metallic. It was reflecting the sun. I could see it reflecting the sun off of one side of it, and it was keeping pace with the car. I saw it for a good 45 seconds before it went behind a tree line. And, it registered in my mind as, a flying saucer. What it was, I have no idea. what it could have been, it could have been a lot of things. It could have been, I'm open to all different interpretations of what it was that I saw. And I'm even open to the idea that, it could have been some sort of hallucinatory sort of thing. But just looking back at it, it's so vivid in my mind. And the event is so real, even in, there's so many years in hindsight. I'm sure memory does reinforce, images, from our past. But, it's, I had an experience. I can't prove it. It's all anecdotal. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is. If I'll ever find out what it was, but, it propelled me even further into this subject, even though, like I said, I was already into it. But, I don't know what I saw.
But
I saw it.
Michael, did it scare you at that age? What you saw, and that's a long time actually to see it. I mean, a lot of people will see a UFO for a matter of a few seconds. I mean,
right?
Yeah. Can you describe what color it was, and what shape it was?
Well, it was saucer shaped. So I guess the best way to put it would be like two bowls and just kind of inverted on top of each other, like metal bowls, and kind of flattened a little bit. It wasn't flat necessarily like a pancake, but it wasn't football shaped either. It was rounded along the edges. It was definitely metal, and I would say that was like a silvery metal that was reflecting the sun, because it was obviously it was gold hued, but I think it was just reflecting the sunlight. So I call it a silver disc, even though it was golden in color. But it definitely had a burnished metal sort of quality to it. It wasn't super chrome, to where it was reflecting everything around it. It seemed like it was sort of a brushed metal. I could sort of see striations. And there was definitely a line of delineation between the two hemispheres that was darker and noticeable. It was a noticeable line. It seemed darker on one side, the side that wasn't reflecting. So it definitely, as a result of that, it gave it a curvature to it. So, flying saucer. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. How big in diameter do you think it was?
Well, I'm not sure how far away I was, but I'm guessing, judging from the fact that it went behind the tree line that was alongside the road, it had to have been at least 40 feet, maybe bigger. It depends on how farther back from the tree line it was. But my recollection is that it was pretty close.
Interesting.
Yeah, within a few hundred feet, certainly, is my guess. But then again, it's hard. I'm going from a recollection from when I was a kid. So I'm trying to extrapolate it from my memory. So, but I'd say probably around 40 feet at least.
Now, anybody else in the vehicle see it besides you?
No, of course not. But we're driving along and we're finishing up our day, and I did make everybody aware of the fact that I saw it. So they certainly can attest, my family members, to my excitement that it was not something that I was fabricating, that I actually thought that I had seen what I saw. So. But, I think they probably shrugged it off a little bit due to the fact that I was pretty much into all this sort of thing anyway.
Yeah, that's how it goes, Michael. But you know what? You could have been like in the movies. You could have just yelled, "Hey, Mom, Dad, look at the UFO over there." But you know what? When you see something like that, you don't think about, Hey, Linda, look out the window.